Hey, we're going to teach you how to lace up a corset back because people constantly ask us, how do I lace up this dress? We're going to show you. All right, Nichole, take it away.
Okay, so with the corset dress, at least on Maggie Sotero's, they almost always come with this little clear snap. The likelihood is that when you tighten it, that's going to get unsnapped, but right now it's just to hold it on. You always start with the very top loop, the top set of loops anyway, and you always want to pull your strings towards you. It looks neater, it's easier to tighten, it's just a better way to do it. You want to make sure that your strings are approximately the same length, because otherwise if you run out of what at the bottom, then you won't be able to tighten the whole thing. Whatever side you start on, you always want to start on the same side. I am right-handed, so I always start on the right side. And you take each set of loops individually. So you do the right side and try to make sure that it's flat as you go.
So you're feeding in from underneath?
Yes. So you want to always pull the string towards you. So you want to go in and pull towards you. And then you do the right side again, obviously. So you do right side and again untwist it as you go. And it's usually easier to lace the entire dress up and then tighten it rather than trying to tighten it halfway through. Otherwise it doesn't hold as well as it should.
So you do every other one instead of trying to do one going all the way down and then the other all the way down?
Yes, you do each set of loops at a time. So rather than taking the right string and feeding it all the way down, you do one set at a time. So you're going to do the right side and then the left side and then the right side and the left side. And the reason you do that is because you get this really beautiful herringbone pattern where the first side is always underneath and the second side is always on top. So it looks like this instead of being conjoined in all kinds of funky ways.
And it does look really smooth. It's really pretty. This will be fun to edit later. Claire looks good in all the dresses.
I hate this band.
What band is this?
Rascal Flatts.
I think this is Jasmine's favorite, she was saying. She's like, I love this.
Country Backstreet Boys. They just bug me. Ow, I totally just scratched my finger. Because they don't play instruments. You're not a band if you don't play instruments.
Okay, so now tell me how you're doing the very bottom part.
Well, first, it depends on how thick your string is. Usually with the thicker string, a lot of times you have to skip the bottom loop in order to be able to pull it through. If you're using a thinner string, like this one, you can go all the way to the bottom because you don't have as much space. This has a tendency to take up a little bit more space. So down here at the bottom, before we actually finish this off, we're going to go through and tighten the whole corset so it's on her and it's going to stay. You always start with your top two, and this is when you can unsnap that if you need to. And then you pull towards you, so you stick your fingers from underneath and you just pull it towards you. And you tighten all the way down. Again, keeping your laces flat, and this is where it's going to help having kept them straight and flat at the beginning and doing it neatly at the beginning, because that means that you don't have to try and untwist them as you go.
So now, I notice on this dress that it comes really close together. Is it going to always look like that on everybody?
Not on everybody. This is because through the hip, this dress is a little big on Miss Claire. While it fits her beautifully up at the top, she would probably, if she really likes the way that the corset looks and wants it to look the same all the way down, she would probably have this side seam taken in just a little bit so that it opens the corset up and you can see it all the way down. So it depends on your body, it depends on the dress, it depends on the size that we got and what we're fitting it for. So, and it depends on how tight you want it. Some people really want it loop to loop, and you can make it however tight as you want. Some people want that corset to show all the way through. So it is completely a personal preference. On Miss Claire, it's a little big on her little hips. So finishing this off, I always prefer to do a single knot right here at the bottom, and what that does is it keeps the rest of this corset from pulling apart. So you've got that finished off at the bottom, and then about halfway down, you do a little bow. And this is also a personal preference. You could just put a bow right here on the outside and have that string hang down. I usually prefer to tuck it in so that it looks a little bit neater, it looks a little bit cleaner, and the back looks a little bit more finished. So this keeps it from going between your legs and trailing along underneath your train as you're walking. And then to pull this through, you have to get, there's multiple layers to every dress. This is the top layer, the charmeuse. It's got a lining of satin, and then you have another couple layers under here. You've got crinoline, which gives the dress a little bit of shape and flounce, and then you've got the actual lining between your skin and the dress. This is where you have to get underneath. And you want to just feel up here on her little booty, and then there's a space between where the panel is and the actual corset of the dress.